Welcome back, everybody, to Total Nonstop Impact Throwback Edition. This is Trent, my co-host, Jaybone. Jaybone, say hello to the people.
What is up, everyone?
What's happening, guys? What's going on? Jaybone, how you doing on this Monday evening?
Oh, man.
Nice hat.
It's been a long way. I don't wear this one much. I wear it once in a while. It's kind of beat up. It's kind of, classic looking. I like it. It's in honor of someone celebrating someone who won the tag team championships for the first time. We'll get into it a little later, but it has to do with that.
We sure will. Where'd you get that hat? What's the story behind that hat?
This is, believe it or not, I got this at Hot Topic on clearance for like $10.
$10.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to look beat up, and it was like kind of hanging off of a rack, and I think it was like the back is a little crunched, and I've had to touch it up here and there, but it just, I don't know. It's it looks like it's been around the block a few times.
Some of the listeners might remember Jaybone. James Storm actually had a hat just like that for sale in Shop Impact or Shop TNA at the time. And it looked just like that. It had a logo and everything on it. But that was one of the days. Yeah, man. So everybody, we're here. Another throwback show reviewing the NWA TNA episodes. We are doing episode today is number 12, Jay. 12 and 13. Today's a combo. Today's a combo episode. This is here's the reason why. Let me break this down, Jay. Episode 12 was just an X-Division recap show, right, Jay? It was just pretty much a bunch of X-Division best ofs for the last 12 weeks, along with maybe a handful of new interviews. Nothing too crazy. So we thought there's no sense in giving that one its own episode, right, Jay? We figured what the hell we're gonna do. There's no reason to give that its own episode. So
right. It was a great episode because it really, I mean, the prime focus on 12 was just featuring all the awesome stuff that we've seen, highlights from the X Division. It primarily focused on AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, and Low Key.
Yeah.
And, what these three, I mean, it featured everyone, but it was basically what these three, they were featured interviews from Goldilocks,
JB,
and
Sayaki.
Yeah.
They were all on it. So we figured, guys, we'll do episode 13 in combination because 12 really they listed it as a separate episode, but the fact that it's not really an episode, we just do a 12 and 13 combo. So we'll touch on 12 for 2 minutes, really, and then we'll jump into 13. Right. And then what happened? Yeah, they preempted. I think the reason was, guys, for the taping schedule, episode 13 would have fallen on September 11th. So that block would have been the September 11th block. So they decided to skip all that, do a best of in the studio in Nashville, put that out there, and then just started fresh with the tapings at the end of the month, on September, I think 18th, right, J-Bone? That's when this one was at, 18th.
Right, yeah. The one that they preempted was September 11th, and you got to remember, folks, this is like right after that all happened.
Like a year later. Like we kind of forget about that.
Yeah, it's still quite fresh in the minds. I mean, I think some people. It's been almost 20 years, and I think some people forget how. It's sad that people forget how we felt as a nation and how tight as a nation we were back then. And right now, because of social media and so many other things, not to nitpick a political topic, but man, the country is a wreck. And it's like, man, I wish the country was like it was back then,
Yeah. I mean, I guess I till now I didn't realize it was only a year removed. And it's like, man, that's crazy. It was real fresh. So I don't blame them at all for preempting that. Absolutely not. Yeah. So let's say hi to a couple people in the chat real quick, guys. Let's see what we got here. Eric DeHoff's in the house. Mir Neeson. Millard Harris, thanks for joining. I know he couldn't join last time. We went early on the weekly show on the Impact Lounge. So Millard's back in here today. What else we got? Global Wars is in here too. We got Rex the Boss Gaming. All right, everybody. Very cool. All right. Get some more piling in as they keep coming in. That'll be nice. All right, cool guys. So Jay, let's do this. You got any news you want to touch on this? So we do the big news on the weekly show on the Impact Lounge. On the Throwback, we had no Throwback announcements, did we? Did we have a Throwback announcement this week?
I have not seen any. I didn't dig into the social media too much. I just heard about a couple things within the last 24 hours. The only thing really Throwback related that I've got is, I mean, it kind of has to do with the Throwback and the current stuff, but I mean, I'll touch on it for a minute because it is big news. Everyone's talking about it today. Is Matt Hardy is officially within the last 24 hours a free agent.
He is. A lot of rumors he's going to show up to AEW. I think I just saw they signed Luke Harper just as of right now. So, you know, they got the money. See, the thing is...
Oh, did they just break that?
I just saw a break, yeah.
Oh, really?
The thing is, though, Jay,
I got to get out of here and go to my other channel. I'm kidding.
The thing is, though, Matt Hardy, if he's the Matt Hardy we all know, the cool thing to do would be not sign yet with anybody. Just start showing up everywhere. Just like you never know where he's going to be.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think it'd be a great idea if he showed up to the Throwback TNA show, like something where it's like, man, where the hell is this guy going to be, J-Bo?
He's reinvented himself so well in so many over the years in different brands, in different places. And I would love to see him do something fresh. I know a lot of people just want him to bring back the broken gimmick properly, and he certainly could do that on either brand, Impact or AEW. I'd love to see him just do something fresh somewhere. It don't matter to me because I'd love to see him get a couple more years of him doing his own thing the way he wants to, have the freedom to do it. And there's a few places out there that'll let him. So it's like, hey, to whatever. If we get Matt Hardy wherever, I'm not going to like, oh, he showed up here. Well, I'm not going to watch. No, I'll watch him wherever. I don't care.
Yeah, and he did that, as Millard Harris is pointing out in the chat. He did do that at one time, so it's possible. Real quick to answer Rex's question, it was Ace Steele. We're going to get to that in a second, too. All right. Jay, let's jump into episode 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I got one more thing I want to mention before we go in here.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Don't forget, guys, the Tessa Blanchard documentary, The Diary from Fight Network, is out today by George Barbosa. He's a fantastic filmmaker. Good buddy. He's a good brother. Very talented. He did the Sammy Callahan, LAX ones as well. There's a Rhino one too, I believe. You guys got to watch this. It is fantastic. I just finished it before we went on here, Jay. It's really good.
I haven't dug into it yet. I'm gonna review it for my own channel for some Impact content, but we're also gonna talk about it on the Impact Lounge. I'm assuming for like the next episode. But yeah, I have no doubt it's great. It's about what, a half an hour long? About
25 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So jump into it when you can, guys. Watch it. We're gonna talk more about it on Thursday on the weekly review.
Yeah.
So
the guy puts out incredible content. When it dropped in our box, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see this."
George is great. He's a fan of our show. He's supported our show, and we support him. He's a great filmmaker. He's done some amazing stuff for Impact. So definitely, guys, check that out. All right, Jay, let's jump into episode 12. I'll let you start it off. There wasn't much to talk about. I don't really know what we're going to say about it, other than it was the best stuff. But go ahead. I'll let you kind of dictate the terms on this.
It was highlights from all the X-Division related matches. They showed 20 matches, highlights from it or whatever. Between a dozen and 20. It was a ridiculous amount of matches. So I was trying to fast forward through it.
Yeah.
And they showed little interview pieces from TNA, all the X-Division folks. Goldilocks interviewed AJ Styles. It was primarily focused on low-key AJ Styles and Jerry Lynn, and then they ended the episode with the three of them kind of in a face-off in the bleachers, and Goldilocks just there, just kind of like holding the mic at a distance, like, "Oh, this is good. Here, you guys continue." Just to focus that the X Division is one of the hottest things in pro wrestling at this time. Still is. It's just a different generation now,
damn. I mean, you never saw anything like it. You know, I mean, it was so damn new. So that was, I mean, they realized quick that was the hook of the company. You know, that was what hooked everybody was that X-Division. Because I mean, I know when I watched them as they aired, I mean, it was cool. It was like, man, what the hell is X-Division? This is so cool, you know. So definitely, if you guys want just like a best of the X-Division up until week 12, check out episode 12. It is like Jay said, like 21 match. I'm looking at it right now. It's a ton highlights of a ton of matches. It'll get you caught up essentially in that term.
Oh, it'll make your head spin too, because there's so much good stuff. It's like, oh man, these guys did this, and then they tag, and then they fight, and then oh man, just everything is just
totally bananas like that.
And then I looked at what as I made tonight's description and looked at what was coming up for 13 before I watched it. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, they're like hitting a certain point in the TNA shows here where like you're a couple months in, you're 3 months in at this point. You kind of establish who's who, and you still have a rotating cast who's coming in and out. So you have a lot going on. But they do know for sure the X Division is their hook. And you know that they're going with that.
Oh, and this episode going from the break into 13 now.
Yeah.
All the new faces debuting in this one, I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This one is definitely going to be the head turner from like the debut till now.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is going to be the head turner that got people like, oh, this guy. Oh, did you hear about this guy? Oh, and this guy. This episode just has a ton of that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. There's a lot. There's definitely a lot going on. So let's get into it. Let's kick it off, guys. We're talking episode number 13 of NWA TNA. Took place on September 18th, 2002, live at the Nashville Fairgrounds, the TNA Asylum, which was really rocking in this episode. Show opened with Goldilocks in the bag, breaking down the gauntlet for the gold tournament for the tag team titles, and she's interviewing Scott Hall, who's come back to the company, Jaybone, after a little bit of a gap. Scott Hall's there, and
he doesn't come alone.
No, he does not. Kind of an interesting way to introduce this guy, but you have a yep, there it is. He introduces none other than his partner, Sean Waltman, X-Pac, Syxx Pac, the 1, 2, 3 kid. He comes in looking fresh, happy to be there, and they're just having a good time. So they're teaming up for the gauntlet for the gold later. Is what got implied.
Oh man, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the interview they cut in the ring later.
Like, yeah, we're gonna get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh damn.
We have a pro preview. They say Dustin Diamond is on the show. Screech from Saved by the Bell, which I forgot this happened because he showed up at AAW where I'm at. He showed up there, I want to say in 2013 or 12. He showed up for AAW later on. So he was doing, I mean, he was coming off the celebrity boxing thing. I know that. But I forgot that he made this appearance, man. And then we main eventing with Jerry Lynn and Ron Killings for the world title later on.
I think that was when he was more infamous for his little devious in-bed actions behind the camera.
I think it was right after.
I should say in front of the camera.
It was right after this. But he was coming off that celebrity boxing where he beat up Horseshack from Welcome Back, Kotter. I remember that for sure. I watched that live. I remember when that happened.
I remember them saying Horseshack, but and I know I'm dating myself here, but I was like, okay, I grew up on Kotter, and it just hit me now when you said Horseshack. I just reminded myself who that was. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
I can picture it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian Lawler's in the back and waiting for Jarrett. Again, the whole Jarrett and Lawler thing, still the hype. And he's telling, he's saying, leave me alone to everybody else. And Jarrett comes up and he's saying, that's enough. Damn it, Brian, we've known each other since we were kids. Since we were this big. Why the hell, of all people, to accuse me? What the hell's wrong with you? You should look at your girlfriend. You know, she's off slutting around. You know, you're like, you know where she is? Do you even know where she is? You know, she's not with me, so we gotta figure out who she's sleeping with. Basically, Jared turns the table on it and says, "Your girlfriend is a whore. Not your problem." So Laura's like,
"Oh yeah, she's just causing problems." Just to sum it up, yeah. And it was the first time in all of this stuff between these two brawling like crazy that Jeff was like, "Hey, hold on a minute. You need to listen to me because this is what's happening." And Brian for the first time was like, "Oh,
God damn it, Lawler." He's like so intense. And I'm like, wow, he was really intense. Jarrett comes out to the ring. He calls out the Bullet because I want to know who this goddamn mask man is. You know, I want answers. He doesn't really wait long. He goes to the back. The mask man attacks him, brings him to the ring. They start brawling. There's some familiar moves, Jaybone, that start getting done here. Yeah, the strut punching. Now, this is the magic of pro wrestling. I gotta say, this is something that's really cool about wrestling. Did you notice the second he did those punches and then the shoulder shrug thing, the whole crowd went like that, and they were just like, you just heard the wave of, oh,
the light went on, yeah. And you know what? I didn't recognize that the week before.
I told you, remember we pointed this out that he started it, but he stopped it because I think he was in the zone.
Oh, okay.
But he stopped it quick. This week he went all for it. Now that happened, and then I pulls the mask off, and it's Brian. You know, it's the Road Dogg, Jesse James, but he's not calling himself Jesse James anymore. He goes into you didn't know, your ass better. Ho ho ho! I can't say that. Oh, that's gonna get us in trouble. And then
the DO double,
the DO double, we're gonna get sued if I do that or something. But he goes on and says, when I was born, my mother named me Brian Gerard James, and if Brian Gerard James is good enough for my mama, it's good enough for me. So I'm BG James. And he says, Jarrett, you attack my family, my daddy, I'm coming after you. So that's you don't mess with a Southern boy's mom or dad, Jaybone. You know that, right? You cannot mess with a Southern boy's family. He basically said, Jerry, I never forgot how you turned on me. That was interesting too. We're gonna get more out of that. I'd like more story from that. Very cool. A lot of build before we can get a match here. We'll go back. Now there did a lot of this, Jaybone, a lot of Goldilocks back and forth because they were hyping the Gauntlet. They had to get everybody in. Goldie's back there with the Elvises, and they're basically eyeing the tag team gold. And then, Jay, did you catch this? Oddly, Sonny Siaki's like, support Jerry Lynn. You got to support Jerry Lynn out there. He's representing the X Division. It was so out of place. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Why?
Wait, who said that?
Sonny Siaki. At the end of the interview, he says, don't forget, we got to support Jerry Lynn out there. He's representing the X Division. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is that all about? So it was really random, but it was Jorge and Sonny. They mentioned that Yang was on a tour of Japan.
Oh, and that's when he was going back and forth. They mentioned that in one of the first couple episodes, I think, about Yang. No, you know what? I completely missed that, but I know Siaki it was all him, and Estrada didn't say anything. He was just kind of going through the motions.
Right.
That completely blew by me, but it honestly, it's foreshadowing to what happens later. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So it does. Yeah, it made sense afterwards. So we'll get to that. Open the show, guys. AJ Styles and Kid Kash. Now, a couple of things to point out here, J-Bone. Did you catch this? AJ with some fresh gear on.
Oh, yeah.
And the first appearance of the infamous song, the You Are song, the I Am song, I think it was called I Am. The first time that the classic AJ I Am song was played. The first custom song.
One of his original, yeah.
His first custom one. Yeah, that's the first time it was played because it was classic for a long time. That song was his until he got the Get Ready to Fly. That was his like signature song. So that was pretty cool, man. That was pretty cool to see that happen. Yeah. Kid Kash comes out, Total badass. I like Kid Kash a lot, Jay. You a Kid Kash fan? I think he's a badass.
I pop. See, like I said, when I started watching these in 2005, Kash was with Dallas, aka now known as Lance Archer. But yeah, I and just knowing that he went back this far was, yeah, I popped for that. I love Kid Kash. He was, man, and the best part of this was like the first few minutes when they're like going back and forth and they're chain wrestling.
Yeah,
they're twisting each other up, and it was like it's in where you usually think of them as high flyers, but they're twisting each other up and they're grappling, and it was like, damn, this is good. It's something a little different.
Kid Kash he gets overlooked for he's a great technical wrestler. Yeah. He's a really good technical wrestler, actually.
It's just one of those things you think about what you assimilate all these guys with, and you forget about little great little nuggets of history with these guys like that.
True, absolutely. And I just think it was like, man, if you forget that these guys really had some of these guys really had a lot of this technical wrestling style to them, and it's pretty cool. Great match, really great match. Ends with AJ Styles giving Kid Kash a second rope Styles clash for the win in about 9 minutes and 56 seconds. Great showing. I liked it a lot. Again, just fueling that X Division fire. Every week there's something with the X Division, something good. Open the show with it hot.
And there's so many guys, and it's even if it's not an actual feud, it's just damn entertaining. It's great.
Yeah, you at least give them a showcase match, something to look forward to.
It started out the show hot.
It does. That's the idea. Like, you got that hot opening is always fun. All right, next one, Jay. This is a winner's gauntlet. The winner gets to go into the gauntlet of gold. The loser is out. The two teams that remain go on to the gauntlet. The one that gets pinned is out. You have the Hot Shots, Cassidy O'Reilly and Chase Stevens, who we've been seeing regularly. Then you have Derek Wilde and Jimmy Rave. This is a debut now, right? Jimmy Rave has not appeared at this point. Am I missing something?
No, I'm pretty sure. I think one of these guys debuted once before. It's
not Wild.
Fuzzy because
probably Jimmy Rave. I imagine Jimmy Rave was on a dark match before.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So this is Jimmy Rave's main show debut, and this was an interesting one. Ace Steele and CM Punk making their debut.
I had to. I'll publicly apologize. I had to change the cover. I popped because I tried to find little nuggets of things like, okay, I'll throw this on the cover, and then I started digging in deep into this episode, and I was like, oh, CM Punk. Oh. If you guys watch me on my channel, I'm a big CM Punk fan. I don't care. He was so good back then. It's so much fun to watch.
I was seeing him during the indies here around this time. Ace. But here's the thing: I was a huge Ace Steele fan. Me and my buddies are huge Ace Steele marks, big time. He's fantastic. CM Punk and Colt Cabana were trained by Ace Steele and Danny Dominion at the Steel Domain School in Chicago. So I was seeing these guys on the indies around. I've heard about these drives that they used to do with Dave Praise. Like, Dave Praise, most likely was in that car too. They would go down. All those guys. Danny Daniels was my buddy, AAW owner. He would be in those cars. Like, they'd all go down to do these darks and stuff. And some of them would get on the show, some wouldn't. This is a very interesting time. Because if you were watching those lost indies around those early 2000s, there's a lot of those guys start showing up here. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. So yeah, so this match pretty good. It's pretty short, about 7 minutes. Nice little action match. A lot of high flying. A lot of guys who jump around. Some good shots here. But the ending came when Ace Steele pinned, I think it was Cassidy O'Reilly. Hot Shots are out. They're not moving on after a little bit of a I think I might have missed it too. There was a spot in the back, a little a little promo in the back before this match where they were talking about how they're giving everybody a shot. They're giving everybody a little bit of a shot, at things, and we're gonna give a spot to some people and all that. So Prior to that, also, I forgot to mention that Buff Bagwell shows up before this match too. He shows up. I skipped a few of these promos. Buff Bagwell's there. He talks to Goldilocks, says he's Marcus Alexander Bagwell. He's not Buff. And then while he's in the middle of saying like he's got to trust himself first, BG James comes up and says, I need a partner. I've been there where you are. You know, I gotta come where you are, and you know, we're gonna team up and we'll do it together. So he does that. After that, Jeremy Borash introduces Screech to the live crowd. Screech comes up and you know, he gets out there and he starts talking about the celebrity boxing thing. He starts going on about celebrity boxing, what he's doing. Jeremy Borash is talking to him, and he's basically just gets back and forth, you know, just a little goofing. And he's like, well, when are you gonna get in the wrestling ring there, Screech? When are you gonna do that? And he's like, oh no, I can't do that or whatever. He just kind of blows it off, and he's like, well, what about Don West? Don's a fighter. And Don's like, no, I'm not a fighter. No, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So he's like, hey, how about a ring announcer, Tiny over here? Tiny's that guy you've been seeing, kind of a bigger, dorky guy with glasses. The timekeeper. I'm sorry, timekeeper. Timekeeper, yeah. And he's he offers Tiny. He's not very tiny. He offers Tiny to take on Screech. And they're like, what if we just do this now? So that was it was like, so they did that. They start setting up for that while the Hot Shots interview happened before the match. So they start setting up for that whole thing. And it was so wild, Jay. They get in there. It's so ridiculous that it's just like Don Westlake is ringing the bell. He knocks the bell over. Screech is in there. It's like a 2-3 punch done, and he knocks out Tiny. That was it. Like, what? Trent, were you a big Windy City wrestling fan? I was. I used to go to a lot of those shows back in the day. I went to went to one they had Rob Van Dam at that show. I used to love going to that. It was cool. My favorite Windy City wrestling show was they used to do a show called Battle of the Belts, and it was pretty cool every year. But definitely Windy City wrestling was a staple in Chicago for sure. But Jay, what you think of this? Screech making his boxing debut in a wrestling ring in Nashville, Tennessee at the Asylum. This is crazy.
Oh, I tell you what, man, I want to see Screech versus Tyson.
Hey, listen, I think next he looked a little frustrated though, like his time got cut short or something. Did you catch that?
Probably just playing the heel, because obviously Tiny's going out there just kind of like, you know, like doesn't know what he's doing really, and Screech is like, oh yeah, I got all this experience, like he's kind of cocky, like he's the star. Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought maybe they cut him short or something, but for what it was, it's all you needed it to be. You didn't need more than that. But not bad, not bad little cameo, a little celebrity cameo, you know, somewhat to kick things off. So not too bad. Then we had, like I said, we had that Gauntlet match, and then so the Hot Shots are out. Hot Shots are definitely out of the Gauntlet match, and we are going on with Punk and Steele and Derek Wilde and Jimmy Rave. We're moving on.
I wrote down Jimmy Wilde and Jimmy Rave, so I obviously got that one right.
No, Jimmy Rave, Derek Wilde.
It's like there's all these Harrises, you know.
A lot of Harrises, a lot of Jimmys, Harrises, a lot of James, BG James, James Storm, Father James Mitchell. There's a lot of James too in this asylum. What a crazy building. Goldilocks in the back, Jaybone with AMW. Storm is acting like a total dork. Like the whole dorkiness of James Storm. What in the hell is this?
he's cheesy cowboy personified. It's just.
Oh man, Mir Neeson's like Screech versus Urkel. That'd be amazing. I can't believe that didn't happen in some face-off capacity. I can't believe. Well, then again, you're talking ABC and NBC. That's probably why. Damn it, that would have been nice. Right. It would have been cool to have it in the crossover in the 90s. I want to ask Dead Punk Gage a question. Are you from Chicago? Because it's talking about Windy City, Battle of the Belts. Are you from Chicago? I have a feeling he is too, because that's a very specific question to ask Windy City Wrestling, because that is long gone. So if you are Dead Punk Gage, I want to talk more old indie wrestling from Chicago with you, because there is classic stuff we could talk about for sure. All right, Jay, let's keep moving on here, man. Yeah, so Storm's a total dork. It's just so funny to me how cool he becomes later on. And then like Harris is like, I don't even care that you're being a dork right now. That's fine. Whatever you want to do, buckaroo. And he's like, you can't call nobody a buckaroo. He's like, oh, yeah, you can.
The buckaroo.
Buckaroo.
Yeah.
Scott Hall and Syxx Pac. So they're officially calling him Syxx Pac. So, and which is funny because some people in the crowd knew because they had the signs. You catch that? It was like 5 signs. It's almost like they knew he was coming.
Yeah, and that might have been like, and that was also in the infancy of the internet back then. And I got a feeling people were just showing up with stuff and making signs on the fly, maybe, because you could tell some of those were just like scribbled in like 2 seconds.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's a guess. You know, people just brought the sign stuff, bring a couple Sharpies, and we gotta, because they kicked off with the interview with Scott Hall and X-Pac. So in 2 seconds, you can do a quick X-Pac sign and throw it up later when he showed up or whatever.
The other thing I was thinking was, would they tell the live crowd like the week before or whatever show, so that's like the way to sell tickets for the live crowd? You know, it's kind of like one of those things.
And it could be also in the infancy of the internet when someone says, "Oh, you know, it's so and so just left WWF."
Yeah,
you know where they're going to show up. It's the only other company around at the time.
True. Like nowadays, you know, everybody's like, "Well, it's going to go to AEW," you know, things like that. Back then, it was like, if you leave WWF, you're most likely going to TNA, and you know, Ring of Honor wasn't doing contract. I mean, these guys were all such infancy. Most likely it was going to be TNA, which you saw with a lot of them. So
right,
that made sense.
I think Ring of Honor was around at this time. It was Christopher Daniels, Styles, Punk.
It was around. Yeah, it was definitely around. Yeah.
This was when, I think, the same year that it started too. It was,
they got him by a month. They beat him by like a month and a half or something.
It was similar to what TNA was back then. It just wasn't as big, but they did have some veteran
for sure
presence there. Like I think Raven was also there too at the time. Here and
a lot were going back and forth though, Joe. I was thinking a lot were just going between the two companies. So there were essentially two indies.
Yeah.
You know, one had better production, but essentially there were two indies. Yeah. Scott Hall and Syxx Pac in the ring do a bit of a welcome promo, kind of just really goofing. They were definitely feeling it, having a good time, saying we might get fired from here. That'll make every company fired from. Just joking around, talking about the Gauntlet.
And that's what I was talking about. It's like we got to do what we can do here before we get fired.
Yeah. And Scott Hall's like, don't tell the boss, but if I'm teaming with you, I'd work for free. Like, and Jack Scott's like, get the money. What are you, crazy? You gotta get the money. They get jumped by Ron Harris and Brian Lee. They jump him, leave him laying. But not leave him laying. Sorry. Hall, they get the upper hand, and Hall and Syxx leave him laying. Gives them the outsider's edge and everything too.
Is this true?
Roddy Piper had his own wrestling promotion. I didn't know about that. What was it called? I didn't know Piper had. I know Harley Race had one around this time that was training a lot.
I'm clueless to that. I know
Piper I didn't remember
did all
having
sorts
one.
of stuff in wrestling, visited different companies, but no, I didn't know that.
I don't recall Piper having one. I know, like I said, I know Harley Race did his. Shoot, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe he did a short-lived one. I don't know. What was the name of it? All right.
One quick thing I want to say. I got a message earlier today. Global Wars, I got your message on the back end of Facebook. We'll connect soon.
All right. You guys got secret combos going on, Jaybone? There's like secret business deals? You guys cutting me out of here? Are you guys cutting me off the show? Well,
it's in another universe.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right, cool, man. Let's so we go from that. Jaybone, where Goldilocks is with Brian Lawler. Super intense. He's so intense. That's what gets me on Brian Lawler. I like how intense he is. He brings it to the table every time, man.
Oh,
super intense promo.
He's like, he almost blows the mic. He's just, and then I don't mean that in a kinky way. I mean that in like the mic was like was like rattling in my ear as I'm listening to it. It was like, oh my God.
Dude. Yeah. I just like it though. I like that he's like all in on these, you know, like he's just going for it. So I appreciate that. Next segment's Hermie Sadler is back, comes out, talks about being sponsored in the next stock car race he's doing by TNA. So they're sponsoring a stock car at this point, Jaybone. So, which again, the Hermes, I remember when he first appeared a few weeks ago, I was like, man, this son of a bitch was there in like the first 5 episodes, and he stuck around for a long time. Like the Hermes Sadler connection stayed for many, many years.
Yeah, like I saw him show up. He had some kind of segment when I started watching in 2005. Yes. So even then, I had no clue who he was, because I mean I only know so much about racing, which is a handful of people that race now, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I really didn't have a clue who he was, and I was like, oh my God, he got involved within the first few weeks of NWA TNA, and I was just kind of chuckling. Just he's talking over Miss TNA Brucey, as I like to call him. And they're talking over each other, and I'm like, all right, somebody's communication was off here, seriously.
Yeah, because you hear Mike today at one point go, let's see what he has to say. Like he's trying to tell Sadler,
cut him off.
He's trying to tell Sadler you can't talk over a guy in the ring. You have to, hey, come on. So I'm trying to see if I could find what his show was called now, because you got me thinking about the show. He had that Hermes Hot Seat, Jaybone.
Yeah.
It's still there. It's still up on YouTube somewhere.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
I don't know. He went off to other wrestling after that. He started the United Wrestling Federation in 2005, and he'd bring TNA guys in and stuff. That's crazy. I had no idea.
Oh wow,
interesting. And he was out. He was there for a long. Then he did Global Force Wrestling too in 2014. This guy somehow stayed around anything named Jarrett for a long time. If it had Jarrett in the name, that was
they must have had a lot of beers together.
Yeah, no kidding. Bruce is there, does the open challenge again, and this lady accepts it very confidently. He goes, hey, what about you, fat, what do you call you fat slob? I just laugh when they insult him. Now, here's, speaking of Bruce, also known as Kwee-Wee in WCW, Alan Funk. How about this for a weird twist, J-Bone? I got something for you. I just listened to Goldilocks' podcast last night, and her guest was Alan Bruce / Kwee-Wee Funk.
Nice.
And it was like he called her from something, and he's not, like, he's retired. Interesting story. What happened to him? Like, he was there. He talks about the early TNA days. It's fascinating. You guys gotta go listen to it. Goldilocks, it's called Goldie's Closet. It's on iTunes and everything, Jay. What I found out, he suffered a horrific accident at the hands of Sonny Siaki in Finland.
Oh goodness.
TNA did a house show in Finland in like 2004, I want to say, what he's saying, or 5. They were brought over for a house show or like a special feature show for the country. And Sonny did like a split-legged moonsault. I think his knee hit Alan Funk's face and shattered. Like his nose was like this way, fucked up his whole ear, nose, and throat. He said he was bleeding from his ears. In the hospital for 3 weeks in Finland. And 6 metal plates in his face. 6 as a result of the Sonny Siaki incident.
Oh my God.
Crazy, right?
Like I thought Austin Aries' accident was bad when that picture went viral, and that came out a couple of years ago. Jeez.
Which one? Which Austin Aries one?
Oh, when he got hit. I forget who hit him, but he got hit like here, and there's like half of his face had to get metal plated or something.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
6 plates for Brucey.
That's crazy.
But guys, if you like
He's
early
hardcore.
yeah, if you Dead Punk Gage, you saw him at a show. That's awesome. I recently, about 9-10 years ago. Yeah, he drives. He is a specialty CDL truck driver now, doing really well. Drives those oversized concrete hauls and stuff. Says he's doing great. He's in good health. He looks good. He feels healthy. Oh, okay. I just wanted to add Dead Punk Gage. He's from North Carolina. I used to trade tapes with other fans. That's how I watched all that stuff. Oh, cool, man.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool for you to know about Windy City Wrestling up here, though. Very nice. Very, very cool. All right, so yeah. So no, if you guys want to know more about Bruce / Alan Fung / Kiwi, definitely go listen to Goldie's podcast. It's great to just hear about the early days of TNA, Jaybone. Like what he tells about these years, what we're talking about. That's what he's talking about.
Do you think there's a possibility that we might be able to get Goldilocks on here?
Yes, I think so. So, let's put it out there right now. We spoke to Goldilocks. She contacted us about she's doing a project, a special project. I don't want to give it away yet because I don't think she's made it public yet. And she wants to come over and she wants us to talk about, she wants to engage some podcasts to discuss it. And so we said, yeah, sure. Let us know what you want us to do. And we will go and do it. But I think I offered her, I said, why don't you come on our show and we'll talk about, because we're doing the years you were on TV. We're literally doing that on this show. Why don't you come on here and talk to us about it? So
it'd be great to have a classic face from this timeline on here, and then she can talk. We'll give the floor to her, and she can talk about whatever she wants to.
Yeah, and I think we won't keep her for long, just to touch on it, and she can put over what she's talking about. I think it'd be great, though. I think it'd be a really cool thing to do. So
there you go, open invite, Goldilocks.
We're waiting. We're working on it, guys. We'll let you know if Goldie can be on. It'll be cool to get her on here. So. Like I said, what timing though, Jaybone? She contacted us about something totally different, which is I think was cool.
Well, yeah, because I saw you were talking about what you were just talking about earlier about Alan Funk being on there, and so because I'm connected to the TNI social media, so then I was like, oh, I'll give her a follow. She followed back immediately. So
no, that's cool, man. That's really cool. I was just talking about from my own. I think I didn't even tweet it from my own thing. And
yes,
because I listened to it last night, I was like, oh, that was cool. It's cool to hear from him and stuff. So, but he's doing good. He's doing good. He's still kicking, man. He's all right. But it's really great stories. Awesome interview. All right, but he does a open challenge against now this lady. She looked familiar, Jay. I couldn't put my finger on it who this was, but he whoops her ass. Like he beats her down, man. Like, he just beats the shit out of her.
Oh, he called her a fat pig, and had one of the point when she was coming to the ring right before she got in the ring. It was either Don West or Today said "fat pig." I mean, she's gorgeous. I don't know who she was, but she was gorgeous. And I tried looking it up when I was doing the results and the
not even listed
in the description. No, it's not listed at all. I don't know if there's going to be another site that gives it like
I gotta know. I
got mine from was that Fandom, whatever.
Fandom, yeah.
Dot wrestling. I know there's a couple that you look at here and
there.
I'm
gonna look up one more because Fandom should have had it, but I'm shocked. Now I always look at cagematch.net is a great one too. If you guys want wrestling history and results, Cage Match is great. And Cage Match does have it, Jay.
Oh,
her name is Christy Ricci, and she wasn't anything else. Oh, she was trained by Leilani Kai, a legendary wrestler from the old days.
That name I know.
Yeah, Leilani Kai. Christy Ricci, but she didn't do much though, man. She did not do much. She was the total effing package. That was her nickname. She's still that was as an active Twitter. Let's see. So random. We're looking at this. Yeah, she's still active. Wow. She is still active. How about that? Christy Ricci is still active in wrestling. And she got squashed in 1 minute by Bruce. He whooped her ass. This was great. But it was definitely then Hermie Sadler took exception to this because he was beating her down. Hermie Sadler gets in there and he attacks Bruce. He takes out Bruce.
Obviously not a fan of intergender wrestling.
I was going to say, I wish Hakeem Fullerton was in here today, and I'm going to suggest this to him on Thursday. Remind me about this, J-Bone. I want Hakeem Fullerton, his top 10 lists, to do a top 10 list of TNA/Impact did it first. I mean, they were doing intergender weekly with Bruce. Weekly.
Oh, yeah. Whether it was someone known or not. I mean, I think how it was done could be perceived a little differently as opposed to how it is now with more respect towards women, but still.
But like I'm thinking about so many things.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Impact did first. They really did. A lot of firsts, and I think that's one of those things where like, man, I would love a list of that. Dead Punk Gage is saying, I remember her. I saw her wrestled a lot in WEW around North Carolina. That makes sense because she's trained by Leilani Kai, who was trained by Fabulous Moolah, who was in that area, I believe. So that makes sense. So interesting. She's still active though, man. She's still active. Global Wars is saying XWF, where Rowdy Piper was a part of. I think he was just an on-screen commissioner. It was Hogan was on as one of the owners and Jimmy Hart and stuff like that. I went to an XWF show. Here's this. I went to an XWF show, J-Bone, at Hammond, Indiana.
Oh,
never forget. And guess who wrestled on that show and got his ass handed to him? This is fun. Josh Matthews got his ass kicked by Kid Kash.
Oh, man. What year is this?
2003, I want. Is it right? When was Josh Matthews on Tough Enough? It was like the year after.
Oh, man. It was... Gosh, that's funny.
03?
That's like Ruthless Aggression era.
03, 04?
It's
05.
Early, close to mid 2000s. So yeah,
dude, I'll never forget. I was like, this guy's so bad. He's so bad. And Kid Kash lit him up, man. It was insanity. We were like, what the fuck? This guy sucks. Go figure.
Whatever happened to Josh Matthews?
I don't remember that kid. I don't know. Isn't that funny? The guy turns into a VP of a company later on. Like, what? Life's crazy. Life is, right. Guys, you never know where you're going to end up. I swear to God, life is so wacky, J-Bone. You never know where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
Like that guy was a game show turned jobber, became an announcer. Now he's the VP of Impact. Like, what? Like, what in the world? Very funny. Very funny. But yeah, Jay, if you want to edit the details, her name is Christy Ricci. Ricci, not Christina Ricci. Ricci.
I was going to say, wait, is she cousin to the actress sister?
I'm sure it's just a work name.
Because she looks so much like Christina Ricci.
I'm sure that's why they gave her the name.
No, I was kidding. She really doesn't. Other than she's blonde, that's about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever the reason was.
Where do I have that in my notes?
You can put that in. But Goldie's in the back with Jerry Lynn talking about his upcoming title match against Round the Truth Killings. Just hyping it, general hype. Killing. And Jerry makes a comment, J-Bone. He says he's a decent champion for now. And then Killings runs in, sees that. He gets in his face. Jerry doesn't flinch. You're like, what you mean for now? Face to face. Nice little face off to hype the main event. So pretty good. I did like that they were doing the X-Division Champion versus the World Champion. I'm like, oh, that's cool because technically the next belt is the number one contender. Technically, that's how it always would work. Is the next belt down is the number one contender. So I like that they were putting that was a little soon, but because Jerry just won that title, but I like that they do that. All right, man. Jay, here we go. The gauntlet starts. Gauntlet for the gold starts. Now, this was a lot of people. There was a lot of people in this ring. Quite a bit going on here, Jay.
Oh yeah, tons of new faces. A lot of this blew by me. I paid more attention towards the match that actually formed at the end, but this was still a lot of fun.
The participants in here, guys. Let me run down the participants we had. We had Brian Lee, James Storm, Chris Harris, Ace Steele, BG James, Brian Lawler, Buff Bagwell, CM Punk, Derek Wild, Disco Inferno, James Storm, Jimmy Rave, Joel Maximo, Jose Estrada, Jose Maximo, Sonny Siaki, Syxx Pac, Scott Hall, Ron Harris, Cobain. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. I think that's 8 teams, I believe. 8 teams.
I thought it was 10 teams.
It was 10 teams? Yeah, I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, it might have been 10. I was going to say it might have been 10 at the start when they did that other match to get the qualifiers. But
there
whatever.
You go.
Yeah, there's still just
1.
That's the rest of the roster.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, you're right. 10 teams. So this is the order of elimination. Jay, I'm going to run that down real quick. Ready? Lawler took out 3 in a row. He took out Derek Wild, Joel Maximo, and James Storm. Syxx Pac took out, Syxx Pac took out Cobain and Ace Steele. Brian Lee and Ron Harris took out Jose Estrada. Ron Harris took out Punk. Lee took out Rave. Lee and Harris took out Bagwell. Syxx took out Lawler. Harris took out Jose Maximo. Lee and Harris eliminated Syxx. Scott Hall eliminated Ron Harris. Scott Hall eliminated Slash. Disco Inferno eliminated Sonny Siaki. Scott Hall eliminated Disco Inferno. Brian Lee took out BG James. Brian Lee took out Scott Hall. Now, what you're left with, Jaybone, is America's Most Wanted and Brian Lee and Ron Harris for the title. Now it's a fight to a pin. Where did Bagwell come from? Well, he was there. He appeared earlier in the show.
I was going to say, I think as far as timeline and him coming into this company, I'm pretty sure this is right after his failed debut during the Ruthless Aggression era or invasion angle.
Yeah.
Just prior to that, when WWF bought WCW, Bagwell had a match with Booker T, which was supposed to kick off the WCW era in WWF, and it didn't go too hot.
Well, here's one thing that Bagwell's always pointed out that I agree with. I always thought it was strange. That match, that botchy match that they had, was done in Seattle with like very little time given to them and stuff.
Yeah.
The next week they would have been in Atlanta, WCW's territory. And he's always like, why didn't they put us in Atlanta? Where we would have been feeling it, would have gotten over. No, he's almost like to set it up to fail, on purpose. That was the idea.
And I watched some of not to put over the WWE network or nothing, so please don't send me any hate mail for that. But I watched some of the Ruthless Aggression specials that they've just been airing. And this was a very tumultuous time in wrestling. People were, when WWF bought WCW, they were expecting all the big names to come over. And when they didn't get the NWO, Goldberg, Sting, big names, and they got names like Buff Bagwell, which were still big NWO names, but not top tier, fans kind of revolted. Like,
well, the Buff thing.
This guy?
Well, hang on. The Buff thing I got to talk about. Buff was brought in because of the reaction his name got when Vince mentioned his name during the simulcast, the takeover episode.
Okay.
When he's like, do you want Scott Steiner? I was like, yeah. Do you want Jeff Jarrett? Boo. Yeah. And then some people were like, he's like, what about Buff Bagwell? And the whole crowd popped. And Vince was like, get this guy in there. I want the crowd wants him.
Yeah.
So no, but Buff was there. It was right after that, but it was
okay.
But they set him up to fail, man. Let's establish that right now. They could have done it in Atlanta the week after. It never made sense.
A lot of these guys were. It's very sad how it all was done. Jindrak, all those guys.
Total mess.
Not Jindrak. Wait, was it? Yeah, it was
Jindrak. O'Hare and Jindrak. Yeah, those two. There was so much that could have been done. Just it wasn't done right. But no, this was cool. America's Most Wanted then ended up defeating Lee and Harris in about 4 minutes, 55 seconds. They are their new NWA World Tag Team Champions, their first of many. What kicked off America's Most Wanted officially, this was it, man. This was the start of a very legendary tag team. And please, by God, can somebody call James Storm to appear on the reunion show? Jaybo,
please.
You have the hat on, for God's sake. Can you please call James Storm or do something? Please. Be like, I'm your cousin Jaybone. I got beer. Can you please show up to the reunion show with Harris?
I'll even present my best James Storm invitation. I mean, imitation. I mean, what? Pew, 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 pew.
If they just did one more match, I'd be happy. It'd be awesome. One more match. It'd be awesome. Would be real cool. But so AEW's new tag team champion. Now this starts an amazing run of tag team wrestling in Impact or TNA. This is the start of a huge run of amazing tag team wrestling. So highly recommend start watching these. We're backstage now. At this point, I forgot to mention during that match, Jarrett took BG James backstage, and they started to brawl. After this match, we cut back, and BG is bleeding profusely. Everybody's attending to him. He's taken out. The assumption is Jarrett did this to him when they brought him out. So they're setting all that up for the following week. Now, main event time, J-Bone. Main event time. Jerry Lynn taking on Ron the Truth Killings NWA Heavyweight Championship match. This was great, I thought. Jerry was a bloody freaking mess. Did you see that?
Yeah, he was a hot mess. And it was one thing I didn't realize, and I know I fast forwarded through a couple things here and there. I didn't realize because when they promoted this, I think they just said champion versus champion. I didn't think this was for R-Truth's title, but apparently it was.
It was, yeah. They mentioned that later on that it was for the title. So again, a little soon to do anything with that, but I can see where they're going with it. They needed a feature match, something to headline, anchor. A lot of the guys are tied up in a tag team gauntlet. So you needed to. Low Key was out of the country. He's in Japan. They mentioned it on the show. Jimmy Yang's in Japan. Like there's guys out. Everybody else is in the tag team tournament. So it's still. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was a really good matchup too.
I think on paper, take the championships away from this, I think Jerry Lynn would have been over. But you can't have the champ lose.
You can't have the champ lose. Exactly. You can't. That's too soon. And
look, I noticed a couple spots in here where R-Truth is showing his. I'm not going to say he was green at the time, but he was still pretty fresh. You know,
yeah. Well, compared to a veteran like Jerry, right?
Oh yeah, and I someone in the chat said something about NWA Wildside. Yeah, this is the same time when he's facing like AJ Styles and stuff like that at NWA Wildside. So yeah, this is around the same time. Yeah,
exactly. It was around all that time. So you could see where there's some of that what's coming into play, but that's the perfect mix. You got the veterans like Jerry Lynn there for that reason, Can I tell I want to tell a story here, J-Bone, and I want to tell a story on Thursday as well. I want to retell it on Thursday, but this one ends with a little schmoz. I'm going to tell a story after this match, or I'll tell it after the show. We'll do that last segment. I'll tell it after the show. A lot of cheating went on. A lot of the guys came out. It ended up being kind of like a lumberjack match. Jay, did you catch it? Like, what the hell? Where did that come from?
I didn't notice that until like I said, I fast forwarded through some of this, but I saw some of the main moves. I saw Jerry get bloody,
real bloody.
Then all of a sudden I noticed it more towards the end was when Siaki came in, but
yeah, I don't know. It was weird. Like AJ was there, like a bunch of other guys were there. So then AJ does a little bit of a cheat to like throw Truth's leg off the rope. And then everybody's like, what the hell are you doing? Distraction. Jerry's on the top rope, about to go for what would be maybe a win. And Siaki knocks off Jerry.
Ref wasn't looking, of course.
Right. Truth hits him with you can't handle the truth. The cutter gets the win. Obviously setting up a Siaki Jerry Lynn feud. Now this makes sense. This is the callback to earlier, right, Jaybone?
Yeah, it puts the two together.
Yeah. So there's your call. Now you're off to the races. Siaki and Jerry Lynn tie him up. Perfect for Siaki to be in that profile. I think it's really good they're doing that with Sonny Siaki at this point. Yeah. Needed to officially put him on a title quest. Okay, can't be the heavyweight title, but the title quest. So a little messy there, but
I can't wait to see Siaki. And that'll probably, I'm guessing, purely guessing here, that'll be Siaki's official departure from the Elvises and more on solo, because that would make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're going to do that, because I think the tag team, like when he was with Estrada earlier, it was almost weird because, he did all this heelish stuff to set himself aside from the Elvises. Then he's like, it felt like, all right, one last time with the Elvises.
Yeah, it was weird.
Now I'm going to go do this with Jerry. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why is he back all of a sudden? It was strange. So, yeah, that made sense. It all tied that back in. Don West starts going to the plugs for the show, Jaybone, and BG interrupts him. He starts going on about the Jarrett thing. Out of nowhere, Truth attacks BG. He punches BG James. Truth punches him. Tanae reminds you they were former tag team partners. Jeff Jarrett comes out, starts attacking Truth. They're beating him down. And out of nowhere, then Syxx and Scott Hall come and make the save. And then we go off the air with that.
Oh, so, yeah. You got all the brand new top guys, or comeback / new top guys, all brawling for a hot spot. And then
it was cool.
Yeah.
Hot ending, hot opener, hot ending. I like it. I was just listening to Disco Inferno on Russo's podcast, the Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Disco show. And he's like, if you watch the pacing of these NWA TNA shows, Jay, like the formatting, it's like they were in perfect waves to catch you with ups and downs and just times to hit you with a good match and times to leave you hot, leave you low. It's like, and like, that's so true. They were formatted really well. Because I am so into them, right?
And that's one thing that we've talked about. Like just the flow was constant. There's something that you were like into. They kept hitting you with stuff. Like just in this episode is no exception. It just
none.
Like with the debuts, the brawls, the attacks, like around every corner, even during prominent matches like this, it was like just crazy. And I felt like this, like I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it again as we kind of wrap up the last part of this. Lot of hot, fresh faces from the indie scene in this episode, along with some very popular, controversial debuts like Bagwell, Syxx Pac, BG James. Look, is it lucky number 13? Because I think we're off and running now.
We are. We sure are. 13 was a real good one here's another, like, it's like they bounce to this level. And it's like, here's another catapult to the next one. It's like they just keep rising properly.
This is one of those.
I'm telling you guys, if you've never seen these from today's context, go watch them now because they hold up. And man, and you see how good wrestling booking and writing was back then compared to today in terms of just the formatting, J-Bone, just how they format a show that just, I feel like when I watch these shows, Jay, I get in, I strap in, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's like being in a roller coaster. They have a laid out track, and they're going to take me on the ups and downs and the waves, and they know where to hit me with a loop and where to hit me with a drop and where to hit me with a rise. That's exactly what it is, and that's what you got to lay out. Nowadays, I'm hearing they take commercial breaks through midway through promos nowadays. I mean, what the hell is that? So anyway,
but as far as a crazy time in wrestling, like I'm enjoying like today's wrestling a lot because there's so many free agents. You don't know who's gonna pop up where, and And that's why I'm enjoying these episodes so much, because this time, almost 20 years ago, and I said it once, I'll say it a billion times while we're doing these, you never know who's going to show up. It's so exciting, and it just reminds me of how good this period was, and especially for this brand that was just constantly setting the bar. And, you know, for, oh, this guy showed up. Oh, did you see this X-Division match? Had to be the water cooler talk of the time.
That's the fun stuff, man. I mean, literally, I remember looking at, like, you know, there was message boards we would all be on, and we would be talking about this stuff, like who's going to show. I mean, it was so much fun at the time. But that's it, man. That is episode 13 of NWA TNA. You know, that's a hell of an episode. Big things happen on that one. One for the books, guys. One for the books. Can I share a quick story, Jaybone?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell this story on Thursday too on the main show. But I'm at work on Friday, and I get a lot of spam calls on my phone, right? And I just don't, you know, send a voicemail.
Same thing, dude. I want to throw mine in the garbage most days.
So I ignore a lot. If I don't have the number, I ignore it. I get a number, I get a call, Nashville, Tennessee. I'm like, I don't know it, but, you know, ignore it. Leaves a voicemail. I get the voicemail. I go, it's actually, I'll play it on Thursday. There's your hook for Thursday. It's Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn calls my phone. And I said, and I'm like, what the hell? He goes, hey, we're here for, you know, C2, E2 in town for AEW. Because, you know, Jerry Lynn's a coach there. Here for the weekend.
Oh, they had a big weekend.
Yeah. And he's like, where are you at? You know, where the hell you at? Get down here. We're all here. Where the hell you at? And I said, what in the fucking world is happening? I said, when did I become phone buddies with Jerry Lynn? So I call back. He doesn't pick up. Oh, yeah. I call back. I leave a voicemail. I'm like, I never thought in a million years I'd get a phone call from Jerry Lynn. Hope you're well. Give me a call, whatever. Calls me back 2 minutes later. We shoot the shit. It's so nice. He is the nicest guy in the world, you know. And I'm a big fan. I mean, of the Front Row Material podcast that he's on, and him and Mike Freeland and Mikey Whipwreck, you know. And so I'm a fan of the show. I've known him I haven't seen Jerry in 7 years. I haven't seen him. And he did his last tour of AEW, which ironically, the photo came up my Facebook memories today. I saw Jerry about 7 years ago. Nice. If you can see that. That's me and Jerry. I don't know if it's hard to see that, but
he's kind of whited out, but you can tell he's
there. Yeah, it's Jerry Lynn. So
it's more like John Cena. You can't see him.
I haven't seen him in years. And I'm like, who gave him my number? You know? And I'm like, what in the world? Who gave him my fucking number? So we talked for a while. We're having a great time. And so he's like, okay, well, I better get going. You know, I got to go do stuff at the convention. Yeah, for sure. So I'll try to catch up with you, you know, and so I didn't get a chance to, but turns out, you know, Basil gave him my number. He was there shooting for AEW, gave him my number.
Nice.
Said, call him and give him shit, you know, for not being here. So small world. It was really fun to talk to Jerry. He's the best.
Don't tell me you showed up at Revolution. I'd have been jealous as hell, man.
No, I mean, I could have. That's what I could. I just, you know, I don't watch AEW. I don't really have time. But you know, it's like I felt bad. I'm like, shit, I should have made plans to go. I had plans. I couldn't go anyway. Family stuff. But I was like, I should have gone. I mean, Jerry was there expecting me to be there. Global Wars, he got my number from ICU. Look, ICU hacked us again. Did you see that, Jaybone? ICU hacked us again. I posted it on our Twitter. Guys, go to We Talk Impact on Twitter. The son of a bitch got us again. Last week, that bastard hacked us again. The video, check the video, see if he hasn't responded. Because he mocked us last time.
Is it on your Twitter?
It's on the show Twitter, We Talk Impact. It's on our We Talk Impact Twitter. You want to play it? You want to go? Yeah, pull it up and play us. You show everybody. We got hacked. The son of a bitch got us. Zach Bonifer in the room. Thank you very much. Yeah, maybe I'm still convinced it's Kyle too. Pull that shit up, Jay, because this bastard got us again. And I put it up to say, hey, you're not going to scare us. And I know I dared him last week. I said, you got balls. You got to show up on the show and do it again. He sure did. I want to thank Kill Steele for sending that in. He caught the video for us and he sent it in. So unreal. You got it pulled up?
No, my Twitter's I got rid of my cookies earlier and my internet went wonky. I'll find it later.
How about this? Let me see if I can do that screen share thing. That whole fancy screen share thing you do, Jaybo. I want to show the people what this guy did. And let me see if I can get us pulled up here. Yeah, it was 2 weeks in a row. I'm gonna dare him again this week. So here we go. Let's see what I got here, guys. Now share screen. I'm not Jaybo. You're the producer. I never do the share screen thing. Let's see what we got here. Okay, share screen. Can you guys see the screen? What are we doing? Okay, look at that, guys. Look at this. Can you see this? Oh, I have to pick. I have to pick which screen I'm going to share. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do this. I really want people to see this.
Okay.
Okay, because this is funky. This is real funky. All right, let's see. Let's show them screen number 1. All right, let's see. Here we go. Let's see if this works because I want to see if this actually works. Can you guys see this yet? Is it showing?
Oh, it just popped. Okay, I got it.
Here it is. Now check this out, guys. Look at this.
You put it in the.
Look at this now.
Oh, damn.
Now watch this. Watch this. Look at this bastard. Look how he gets us now. Now we're going on there. You see me talking.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about how he got Josh Matthews. And I dare him. I say, you come and get us again. I dare you to come get. And look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We're mocking. And he got us. Son of a bitch got us. Look at this. Look. And he scanned the code, everything.
What that is messed up.
Dude, he got us again. The bastard got us again, Jay. I don't know how that happened, but he did it again. Oops, he did it again. Oh, man. Okay, before we start wrapping, Hakeem Forthan just jumped in. Hakeem, I said something earlier. I was going to tell it to you again on Thursday. We talked about intergender and stuff earlier today. You need to do a list of stuff just called Impact did it first. Because we talked about the intergender with Bruce and all the girls he was fighting and doing the intergender stuff when he was cross-dressing, all that stuff, man. I'm telling you, there's got to be a list of stuff that Impact did first. No question about it. So anyway, I just wanted to catch Hakeem because I just saw him pop into the chat here.
There you go.
But all right, Jay. Well, that was it. That was number 12 and 13, guys, for NWA TNA. Again, if you aren't watching these with us, be sure to get on your Impact Plus app and watch with us. It's more fun. We have some guys in the chat today who's watching along. So, guys, it's a lot more fun if you're watching along with us. Please do 30-day free trial of Impact Plus. If you sign up now, 30-day free trial in Impact Plus. So,
yeah,
get that.
That's 4 weeks of. You get a great sample. If you're watching week by week with us, you get to see what we're doing and how we watch. At least I know you watched them before, but I'm sure you're watching them again fresh. This is all fresh and new for me. Like I said, it's
no doubt.
It's legit like doing the time work because it's just like what's going on now, only almost 20 years ago. So it's ridiculous.
Guys, watch it. We're only 13 in, about to do 14 next week, but get caught up. Watch with us. These are great shows.
It's getting hot now. BG James, CM Punk, X-Pac debuted, Scott Hall's back. The X-Division is insane. Seriously, folks. AMW is tag champs. They're not known as AMW, but it's AMW.
I think they gave them the name at this point, didn't they? Or no? No, they didn't.
I didn't hear it. I was listening.
I think they did by this point. I think they gave it to them. I think. Shit, I gotta look back on that one. But definitely, guys, check it out. Get with us on these. We're having a lot of fun with this. So, but Jay, let's go and get some plugs in here. Where can people find you?
You can find me over on that other little podcast called Smash This Podcast, where we're smashing all things wrestling. Go follow me on the YouTube. It's on Instagram, on Facebook, and on the Twitter box. And speaking of the Twitter box, you can find me personally over on Twitter at Jaybone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150.
There you go, guys. You guys can follow me at Vanilla Joke on Instagram and Twitter, or Hemi Music, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Support, guys. Show some love. You want to support the show, go ahead and pick up a CD over at HemiMusic.com. We are going to have some announcements about the podcast hopefully this week. Jay, I'm still working on a couple things regarding that. We're going to be announcing a few of those things about the podcast, speaking of support. Also, Guys, don't forget.
Same for mine over at Smash. Same thing this week.
Very cool. Guys, don't forget also, you guys can follow me at the Backstage Boys podcast. This is a production-based podcast I do for indie wrestling. I do it alongside referee Nate Speckman and Basil, who's a photographer. We talk about the inner workings of independent wrestling from the production eye, since we've all worked in indie wrestling. So join us over at the Backstage Boys podcast. We're on all the major platforms, YouTube, everything, iTunes, all that stuff. Go ahead and connect with us. We've done some Impact reviews on ones we've gone to, so check that out. Don't forget, guys, you can follow this show wherever podcasts are found. Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell everybody you know. Check it out. If they liked old school wrestling, tell them to check us out. We're doing old school at TNA shows. Connect with us. Don't forget to follow this podcast and social medias at We Talk Impact, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or just type in Total Nonstop Impact Podcast. Comes right up. So, guys, connect with us everywhere you can. Give us all your feedback. Go check out this ICU video. I posted it. Tweet at him. Let him know what the hell's going on. I mean, shit, tell him you can't keep doing this. You cannot keep doing this. We're going to get Jay. I put a thread out to him, though. I said to him, the number one listen to Impact podcast will listen to you. I dare you to show up on our show. I dare you. We'll listen to you. Come on. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll jump in again this Thursday, Jay. I don't know. I don't know what that guy or girl, who the hell, I don't even know who the hell it is. Anyway, guys, thank you very much.
A lot of premonitions on who it could be. Apparently we're going to find out in a few weeks, but
a lot that's going on, man. We're going to find out. We'll find out. We'll see what's up. But guys, that's going to do it for us for the NWA TNA throwback, TNI throwback that we do. The episode number 14 we'll do next Monday. But don't forget, join us over at the Impact Lounge on Thursday for the flagship show, Total Nonstop Impact, the weekly review. We're going to be breaking down tomorrow's episode of Impact Wrestling. That's still in Las Vegas. Huge show coming up. Taya Valkyrie J versus Tessa Blanchard. World title on the line. This is going to be big.
Can't
big
wait.
Stuff. We'll be breaking that one down, guys. Also, don't forget to check out that Tessa Blanchard documentary by George Barbosa of Fight Network. It is out. Watch it before you go to bed tonight. Be ready for the show tomorrow. All right, guys. That is going to do it for us. Jaybone, you got anything else?
That is it. Let's get out of here.
All right, guys. We will talk to you on Thursday over at the Impact Lounge. Good night, everybody.